Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. We got an older one here. I say older, it's the same year as my car, it's 2000. Chrysler Town Country, 3.3 liter engine. And I have not seen this in a long time, but we used to do them constantly. This belt has seen better days. It's coming apart. It's losing a rib. I'll show you what's going on here. Now I'm going to check the rest of the pulleys also, but I didn't want to have to talk over it. You see that pulley right there, how it's sticking out? That's the tensioner. And what they do is the bushing starts to go bad in it, and instead of standing up straight, it starts to lean out, and it lets the belt run off the side. And then it tries to jump a rib and shred. There's a part of the belt that's laying in there in the seat. So we're gonna get this thing in and see if we could just, jump in there and knock it out real quick. Okay, the best way to get into the belt on these things is go in from underneath. Now this cover right here is just, usually it has a push in on the side, and it's got a push in here and here, straight up. Sometimes it has bolts, usually it doesn't. And then it's got a bolt right here in the front. Which this one doesn't have the bolt anymore, it's got a push in. Christmas tree, whatever you want to call them. I had a lot of people in the comments asking, how is this attached? What size is this bolt? When they're like this, you never know what you're going to have. I might not even pull that all the way. I don't think I'll even pull that all the way off. I'll just let it hang there. Let's see if I can get you up in there and show you. Okay, underneath here, what I always do is I grab the tensioner right here. Of course, it's going to lever down and slide it off of this pulley from the top. Ground caught it. All right, now give everything a spin, wiggle it around. Water pumps like to go bad on these things. This one I know has been replaced because he came over and asked me about it. I'm looking at the crank here. Don't just assume because the crank is there that it's not bad. I've seen the outsides of these dampeners walk off. Okay, we're gonna pull that tensioner. Now you can see the bottom of it there where it doesn't look like there's anything holding it. Well, there is a nut on the back side. Now I'm gonna attempt to reach you up in there so that you can see where this is. You cannot see it from the bottom. I think that's it. I'm not sure. No, that's not it. Maybe that's it. Like I say, it's been so many years since I've had to do one of these. I used to do them all the time. It's not horrible, but it's tight. Now the way I do this is with a 15mm wobble socket and a long extension. You reach up with your other hand and grab the tensioner and just pull it off. Now, I've got it out, and now that we can see it, the failure is evident. You see how much is sticking out right there versus over here. That mounts like this, almost exactly like this. Now, because we've got much more sticking out at the top here than we do at the bottom, that means this whole thing is leaning over. This is a smooth pulley right here. The belt tries to run off. That's why all these 3.3 and 3.8 Chryslers, the belts chirp. They have a kit that you can buy that is double-sided V's. So it's got two-sided V's, kind of like some Volkswagens. But I'll tell you a little trick. When we have one that's giving constant trouble, I think that this pulley here can be replaced with, I believe, one for a 4.9 Ford that just has a saddle on top of it. Keeps it from running off the side. It'll still chirp and make noise, but it won't throw the belt. Like I say, it has been over a decade since I've had to do one, because these vans, they got traded off, they got crushed. This one here belongs to a regular customer. They do a lot of their own work, but this one wasn't long for this world, so they decided to stop fixing it some years ago. They bought a different one. It's the one that they bought to replace this one with. This is sitting out back with a blown up motor at the moment. One of their kids is driving this, I think. So I'm pretty sure that when everything got quiet in here, I could hear it say, "There can be only one." So we'll just let it be, not give it any swords. But yeah, it might be immortal. We'll see. Supposedly they got the parts in stock, so let's get them ordered. Okay, parts are on their way. Now, if you might think that this amount that I showed you on this is not very significant, well, you're right. It's not very significant. This is unloaded with no weight on it. When the belt goes around this is why they have so much trouble. It's a design flaw. When this thing is loaded up, it is sitting there perpendicular like this, and it is pulling down like that. There is a bushing inside here to try to keep everything straight and still be able to rotate this way. Well, that bushing starts to wear out because all the weight is on it in that position at all times. So you pull this down a little bit and it's going to lean out because that is where it's worn. This is worn so badly that you can see it in its unloaded position. That is a dead giveaway. The way you check them is with the belt still on them, just like you saw at the very start of the video where I looked down and sighted down the edge of the belt. You sight down from the top of the belt where it's flat down to the power steering pump, and you will see just how much this is leaning out when you do it that way. That is the best way to do it. And it's the way to know 100% just how bad your tensioner is. It is normal to see a little bit of it. It is still bad, but it's fairly normal. That's why they chirp all the time. I tell people to put some baby powder on them, you know, just to give it a little bit of traction on the back side of the belt, not squeak off. And like I said, the Band-Aid for that is a pulley. And I think, do not quote me on this, I think it was for a 4.9 Ford straight six. And it had a back-sided pulley that was the right diameter and the right center with ribs to hold that belt kind of in place. Or you can spend $200 or $300 to get the kit, this double-sided V. That's the best way to do it. I've never put one on, ever. Nobody's ever popped for it to fix an old Chrysler or Dodge or whatever you had. So when the parts get here, we'll go back together. Well, that doesn't fill me with confidence here, but and I like the Gates, but it was supposed to be a Murray. We'll see. All right. People have asked me, what's my trick to do this? What's my trick to do that? There's a lot of things where there isn't a trick. I just do it. And there's a trick, I tell you, a trick that I used. 9 times out of 10, there's no trick to it. You just do it. I don't know how to explain it any differently. This is one of those things. It's better to be up on a lift, and I reach up with my left arm and hold it and reach up with my right arm, and I put the nut on there. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. I'm going to attempt to do this without having to hold the tensioner. Okay, the trick to doing this on the first try is called editing. Gravity. Okay. Now you get the nut started. Make sure the tensioner is in its lock, because there's a bump on the back side of it. It has to be clocked correctly. Okay. It looks easy. That's what pisses people off when they go to do it themselves. And it's not easy. By the way, it's a lot more fun to do when the exhaust is hot. Not that I'm speaking from experience. You saw the number on that tensioner we used. Here's the belt, K060966. If you hold it that way, it makes more sense what I said. As much sense as it can make. Now I'm going to attempt to film some of this. Unfortunately, the best camera angle is behind my eyeballs. So I'm kind of using them at the moment. There's a little bit of a trick to this. The belt's folded up twice. So I use that to my advantage. Take one piece, you know, the end, and it's got a fold right here. And you jump the backside over top of the tensioner, and then you hang the top over top of the alternator, go down around the power steering with that, and then feed the rest of the belt, ending up with the smooth pulley that's above the crank. That's your last one. You depress the tensioner and put that one on last. I'm trying to hold a wrench and do this. Why am I doing that? Come on. Ouch. 3 elbows. Okay. Takes a little bit of effort to get it around the power steering pump. Reach up. Sometimes the belt is stiff enough you can get it around the, okay, get around the alternator. If it's not, I hear there's a pill for that. Oh, that jumped off. Come on. Come on, get over on there. On. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? There. Sometimes I pull on the belt a little bit. Roll it to get it to jump on. I have no idea what you're seeing. Now, I put it on this smooth pulley to keep everything lined up while I was putting everything else on. Reach down here, start it around the crank, and I'm going to pull it off of this smooth pulley. Jump it on the crank, push up onto the water pump. Okay, the belt is on there everywhere except for that one smooth pulley. Ouch. Okay. Now I'm pulling down on that. Get my wrench on here. going to rotate towards the back. Oh, okay. Now, I usually jump it a little bit like that because it wants to be straight. It really does. Once everything's in place, it wants to be there. So if you jump it like that, if it's off a little bit somewhere, it'll usually jump on. Feels like I'm on everywhere. Now we replace our cover, and I'm going to let it down, fire it up. Okay. It needs valve covers desperately. I'm going to price that job to them. Okay, I'm going to reach in there and fire it up. You can see that you can't see the side of the tensioner anymore, but that might show up as it runs a little bit. But let's see. Let me see if I can get it zoomed in a little bit more. Beautiful. No more chirping and squealing. And as you can see, when you sight down the side of it, you can see the power steering pulley down there. You sight down the side of it just like that, and that tensioner is straight. Just like that. That's how you gauge it. If you're looking down, sighting alongside of it like this, and you can see that much of the belt, then you're going to have a bad day whenever you hit a puddle of water or something. That's going to just spit that belt right off. In this case, they still have all their shields in place, so they weren't getting that. It ran off the edge enough that it started chewing the belt up. There's even a rib of the belt laying in the seat in there. So we got her all taken care of. Noise is gone. We're going to price for valve cover gaskets. We washed it off, but that only got up here. And yeah, if they don't do it, I understand. But that'll do it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.